What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. In this video, I'm going to be doing a penetration test with my Ruger M77 Hawkeye Alaskan chambered in 300 Win Mag. I'm going to be shooting some 2x10 Douglas fir framing joists with some 210 grain cutting edge solids, and I want to see how many 2x10s these 210 grain solids can penetrate through. I'm going to be testing hand loads, and I've already tested some factory loads with the 180 grain cutting edge solids from Choice Ammunition. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link in the top right corner. So in this video, I'm going to be testing the 210 grain version and hand loads versus the 180 grain version from Choice Ammunition. So these hand loads can produce 2,700 feet per second out of this 20-inch barrel rifle, and that amounts to 3,400 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. And the Choice Ammunition factory 180 grain solids produce around 2,800 feet per second out of my 20-inch barrel rifle and around 3,150 foot-pounds. So let me give you guys a closer look at the rifle and the ammunition. All right, guys, so here's the ammunition. This is Choice Ammunition. They're based out of Montana, and this is their 180 grain cutting edge Safari solid. They advertise 3,100 feet per second. I get around 2,800 to 2,850 feet per second out of the 20-inch barrel Ruger Hawkeye Alaskan. And here's the Choice Ammunition 180 grain solid. So these are monolithic metal bullets. They're completely solid. They're not made to expand. They're made to penetrate. They have a flat nose with a wide me-plat. Me-plat is this front flat portion of the bullet. And these generate around 3,200 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. And then here's my hand load. Look at the difference between the hand load and the Choice Ammunition. Look at how much longer that 210 grain bullet is compared to the 180 grain. Okay, and my hand loads should be going at around 2,700 feet per second and around 3,400 foot-pounds. This is the 210 grain solid. Beautiful bullet. This is exactly what you want for penetration. This is the type of ammunition that you would use for bear protection, or if you're on a safari and you're carrying a 300 Win Mag for plains game. If you run into a lion or Cape buffalo, these bullets would definitely penetrate through some dense bones. And here's the company that makes those bullets, Cutting Edge Bullets. All right, they're based out of Idaho now. They used to be based out of Pennsylvania, not too far from me. And here's the rifle I'm going to be using, Ruger M77 Hawkeye Alaskan. And I've done a lot of custom work to this rifle. It has a Hogue stock with an aluminum bed block. I have a Silencer Co. Omega 300 on here. And I had the bolt handle and the bolt knob and the extractor bead blasted, so it doesn't reflect light, and it's also a little bit more grippy. I have an Athlon 2.5 to 15 power scope on here. So let's see what happens, guys. How many 2x10s do you think my 210 grain solids going at 2,700 feet per second are going to penetrate through? And I'm going to shoot the wood at 25 yards and 100 yards. So we can see the difference between 25 yards and 100 yards. And I'm also going to shoot this as well. And we're going to compare this to my hand loads and see the difference. So let's see what happens here, guys. All right, guys, 300 Win Mag solids. First one's going to be the 210 grain. Second one's going to be the 180 grain. 100 yards. Let's see if there's a difference at 100 yards in the penetration. Perfect hit. Perfect hit. All right, guys, so I want to show you my hits here. So here were my hits with the 180 grain choice ammunition. 3 shots right here at 25 yards. And then here we had 3 shots with my 210 grain hand loads at 25 yards. And then up here we had the 210 grain hand load at 100 yards, and then the 180 grain choice ammunition at 100 yards. So pretty interesting results. So the 180 grain choice ammunition penetrated through 16 2x10s at 25 yards, and my 210 grain hand loads penetrated through 17 2x10s at 25 yards. So my hand loads were able to penetrate through about 1 more 2x10, maybe 1.5. So, another 2 inches of wood. It's a slight improvement, nothing crazy. I was expecting my hand loads to penetrate maybe 3 or 4 more boards, but just 1 board, that's not a huge improvement. But again, we're shooting at wood here, so, in living tissue, that would amount to a lot more penetration. But we're shooting at wood here, so you can't compare that to living tissue. So slightly better penetration with my 210 grain hand loads, and at 100 yards, it was also the same thing. So my 210 grain hand load penetrated through 15 2x10s at 100 yards, and the 180 grain solid from choice ammunition penetrated through 14 2x10s at 100 yards. So at 25 yards, we got 2 more boards of penetration. So that's about 3 more inches to 4 more inches of wood of penetration. So that's pretty significant. So let me show you guys the results. So here we have a block of 13 boards. Okay, so here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, and I'll just show you guys the back here so you can see that they all exited out. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 exit holes. Okay, because I took 3 shots at 25 yards with the 180, 3 shots with my 210 grain hand loads at 25 yards, and then 1 of each at 100 yards. So there's all the exit holes. That's the 13th board. Look at all that wood, guys. That is ridiculous. Okay, that is just insane. So here we have the 14th board. You can see our holes here. We have 1, 2, and 3. That's the 180 choice ammunition. And then we have 1, 2, 3. Those are the 210 hand loads. 210 hand load, 180 choice ammunition. Okay. And here we have the 15th board. You can see the 180 grain solid from choice ammunition got stuck in the 15th board. It's a little bit hard to see, but you can see the base of the bullet there. So we're going to say 14 boards at 100 yards. Okay, so pretty interesting. That's 2 boards less at just 75 yards further. So huge difference in penetration from 25 yards to 100 yards. And then the rest of them just kept going. And here we have the 16th board, and here's our 210 grain solid at 100 yards, stuck in the 16th, penetrated through the 15th. So 1 more board of penetration. So it is a little bit better, but it's not a huge difference. Okay, and then 25 yards, they all pass through the 16th board. And then here we have the 17th board, and here you can see our choice ammunition solids. All right, you can see 1 right there, and then the other 2 penetrated deeper. Okay, let me show you some of these. So you can see one of them poked out quite a bit here, probably about 1/2 inch out the back of this board. Okay, so I mean, we could stretch it out and say 16.5 if we wanted to, but just to make it easy, we'll just call it 16. All right, so 2 more boards of penetration at 25 yards versus 100 yards. That's something to keep in mind if you're in a self-defense situation against a brown bear or some kind of dangerous game. You're going to get better penetration up close because you're going to have more energy and more velocity. And then here we have the 18th board. And here we have the 18th board. You can see our 210 grain solids got stuck in here, and they actually poked out the back quite a bit. So, I mean, we could say 17.5. We could say that the 210 grain solids penetrated 1.5 more boards than the 180 grain factory loads from choice ammunition. So I would say that my hand load is a success. I think I improved upon the already great choice ammunition 180 grain solid. Excellent load. If you're not a hand loader, I recommend you check out the choice ammunition 180 grain solid. Excellent load for dangerous game defense, but I improved on it quite a bit just from hand loading. But my hand loads definitely added a little bit more energy and a little bit more penetration. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. To see more of my reloading content, check out my reloading playlist. I'll leave a link in the top right corner. And to see more of my 300 Win Mag content, check out my 300 Win Mag playlist. Take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.